thing to also remember is that the Clintons and the Trumps were friends. So I don't think Bill is innocent. And you are the company you keep, right?
Mhm.
So if Epstein and Trump and the Trumps and all that were his company, whether they are now or not, at one point they were. And bottom line is they have something in common, which is money and power.
Hello, Doom Scroll Club family. Calvin and Cody here, uh, running you through all the horrible news and sometimes uplifting news that we hear throughout the week. This has been a busy week. We've got a lot of stuff going on. We've got a new war to, be excited or terrified about. We've got more Epstein file news. We've got the Clintons. We've got some updates on some trans news, and everything in between. So let's start off with Cody. How has your week been?
Oh, my own personal hell of just being sick. So not the greatest week. I felt like I was getting better. Like by Tuesday, I was like, cool, getting back to normal. Woke up Wednesday, and I woke up at like 1:30. I could not stop just coughing like crazy. My nose was just like a faucet. Um, So ended up going to urgent care. I needed a doctor's note for like my IOP program, anyways, and they gave me some like antibiotics and stuff because I think I developed a upper respiratory infection, which is why I was getting worse. And like I got a fever. It's weird. You're not supposed to get a fever like at the end of a cold. And so they was kind of like, here, take these, and it seemed to do the trick. Starting to feel better. Just another sign my immune system is just stressed as fuck for a cold to
Yeah.
like take me out. The news doesn't really help, but just trying to live my best life while the whole world is on fire. But how about you?
I haven't been sick, but I've kind of had a crazy week as well. Well, a couple weeks ago, we noticed that water was pooling underneath our house. We thought it was a plumbing bathroom issue. And the landlord was like, we'll take care of it when it's dry. So 3 weeks later, they finally came out and looked at it. Luckily, it's not a plumbing issue. So that's the good news. Bad news is it's corroded pipe from our kitchen and laundry room. So we have a plumber coming on Monday, but that means we can't use our laundry room, we can't use our kitchen sink, we can't do dishes until then. So that's been fun. On top of that, they fixed our concrete driveway, they fixed our garage door. So it's been a lot of stuff happening around the house. But other than that, things have been okay. Getting ready for a work trip this next week, so that'll be fun to get out of the house. And it's Southern California, so it's gonna be like 80-degree weather, which will be nice and sunny, right along the coast. So yeah, I'm looking forward to. I don't even know if I'm looking forward to it. I'm just trying to psych myself into looking forward to it.
I mean,
uh,
that's half the battle, right? If you really start to believe it, then you'll have a
yeah.
good time.
Yeah, we did get a new bed last night. My
Oh,
my grandma, she got a new bed and mattress because she just broke her hip, so we got her like less than year old king pillow top mattress, and then her bed frame, which is like a really like high quality expensive bed frame we can never afford.
nice.
So we slept in that last night, and let me tell you, the my back feels so much better, and then it just makes you realize like how fucked up like mattresses really fuck up your sleeping, and you
Yeah.
don't realize it.
Yep.
So that, and then also it's a king. We went from a queen to a king, so my
Oh.
dogs now have a lot more space on the bed. I
That's
still
what
have the
happened to
same amount of
us.
space, but now both dogs can fit, you know, so they're
Yeah.
happy.
That's what happened to us when we got we when we moved, we were on a queen at first, and then we realized like one, we needed a new mattress because it was way too soft. And, like I couldn't even lay on my stomach because my back, I would just like sink. So then my
Hmm.
back would just be like, and
Yeah.
then of course the dogs and stuff. So we got a king, and it definitely helped. But the dogs are like, sweet, more space for us.
Hmm.
So like,
They get to spread
yeah,
out, and you're just like,
yeah,
eh.
yeah, exactly. But at least it's more supportive and doesn't. It's like when you're old, you can't get away with that shit anymore. When you're young, you could sleep on anything and you'll feel the same. But
Hmm.
not so much when you're old. Everything matters from your insoles to your bed.
Yep. My wife has been complaining about foot pain for like a couple months now, like longer, but like it's been like increasingly like the last couple months. And they finally went to the doctors, and apparently it's some sort of like, it's not a disease. It's some sort of like condition where like there's like literally a broken bone that is like protruding up through the foot at the top of their foot. And they're like, yeah, there's
Ouch.
nothing we can do about it. Like, you're just gonna like have to be on pain pills. And my wife's like, no, we're not gonna do that. But I'm just like, modern medicine, you can't fix that. Like, it's just like,
It
I'm gonna
sounds
have to
like she
walk
needs a
around.
second opinion there. You
Yeah,
know,
like
like
I'm just gonna have to walk around with a broken piece of bone that's just stabbing the top of my foot. Like, that doesn't make sense.
it doesn't. It sounds more like a doctor who's a little too lazy to. Did they see like an orthopedic doctor or is just the
Yeah,
okay?
yeah.
Yeah, I would get a second opinion on that for sure. Like the least they could probably do, even if it's a cortisone shot, might help
Hmm.
because pain medications, obviously, that's going to be hard to even get anyone to prescribe them. But also,
Yeah,
you don't want to be on that
yeah.
your whole life.
Yeah,
Like, come
I
on.
mean, yeah, we're looking at like there's such a like an epidemic of people who have, addictions to pain meds, and you're literally saying, "Oh, you're gonna have to take this for the rest of your life." Like, no, there's got to be like something else you can do. Let's just amputate the foot. Like, at that point,
I mean, for
I'm just
real, but like,
volunteering that for my wife. Like, yeah, just cut it off. Yeah.
that's like they don't even really prescribe them anymore. Like the pain management doctor I went to for my back, they don't even prescribe opioids. And you're
Hmm.
like, so this is pain management, and they don't even prescribe opioids. They make you go to your PCP. It's like because they're like, we don't want the responsibility of that. So sorry. And not that I was trying to get any, but they don't. I was trying to get a cortisone shot, but they won't do that either because we can't rule out infection from it yet. So I'm just like, cool, we get to be in pain too. So I think that's just the solution for how doctors kind of do things now. They charge you just as much to tell you they can't do anything.
Yep.
Um, yeah, love the system here. It's fantastic. So yeah, that's like a whole
If you
other
if you want to donate to
podcast.
our GoFundMe to get Cody and I out of the United States,
Yes, we'll leave the description. Just kidding. Everyone's like, "Fuck you guys, we need to get out of here
right?
too." Everyone's trying to get out of here. I was seeing that like numbers of people who have applied for citizenship in the UK have gone up dramatically since Trump took presidency. Then also, I think Portugal is now the number one place people are trying to move to, which makes sense. Uh, and people love it there. I don't think it is easy. But yeah, so Portugal's a popular hopping place right now to be moving to. If I could choose any place, I would probably choose Spain, hands down, just because the food, the culture. I'd have to learn Spanish, of course, but I'm not opposed to it. I've taken a few years. Not that that's helped me at all, but I would be like, yes, yes, I will go there. How about what would be like your place that you'd want to go if there was no walls or barriers to it?
Probably like, if I'm looking realistically wise, I think Canada would be the best option, just because I we would still be able to see our family, or our family would have an easier way of being able to come up and visit. Which that's kind of like a big thing for us. If that wasn't an issue and I could go anywhere, I probably would go to like the Netherlands. I just feel like that, like, it's just beautiful up there. I'd love to live in like a small town. Like, I'll get a job on a fishing boat or something. I don't care. Like, as long as my quality of life is good, and I'm happy. I don't care what I'm doing. I think my wife likes Amsterdam in the Netherlands as well. My wife would be fine in like Spain or southern countries because they speak Spanish. Don't speak any other languages, so I would be screwed. But I don't like humidity, so I feel like anything that's like southern equator like is just
It's
going to
true.
be like Florida was miserable for me.
Ugh,
I
that's the
hated it.
worst. It
Yeah,
doesn't
I
get much
like
worse than Florida.
I was inside all the time because anytime you would walk out, you just like it felt like you were walking into a sauna every single day. It was miserable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, thank you. No, thank you for sure. It's like the plus side about a little bit of humidity. Granted, I've never been to Spain, so I don't know exactly how it feels, but they do have a lot of good fruits and veggies that they grow there. Realistically, if I were to only think realistically, the UK would be the best option since I'm a dual citizen, and obviously that makes it way easier. Problem is, I'm the only one with citizenship, and then we got Des and kids. So with visas, that's around $60,000. So I don't have $60,000 in my bank account. Plus, like, I would have to sponsor her, even if she like has a job where she's already making more or whatever. I have to meet a income threshold, or you have to have like $80,000 in savings. They're just
Hmm.
like, well, no. I mean, I do meet the income
Hmm.
currently, but I don't know for how much longer. So that window is closing, and they're changing a lot over there. They've got their own issues that are very like concerning because they've got their own little version of MAGA, their Reform Party. Chances of them taking power are small, but what I'm seeing over there is kind of concerning in that the people are like, oh no, it will never happen. We'll never let that happen. It's such a small minority of people. We thought the same thing in 2016 when Donald Trump was elected. Kind of seeing how they're approaching it is how we were approaching it in 2016, which is like, I don't know, so although realistically that makes the most sense, there's kind of this fear that they're too much like the US and, potentially could fall down the same path. So that's why I'm like, yeah, Spain, Canada, yeah, but downside about Canada is it's very expensive,
Yes.
hard to, be able to remain living in Canada.
Hmm.
Their immigration stuff is also not
Really hard.
not easy. Yeah. So I know I have a client that is planning to go to Thailand. Originally, I think they were going to go to Mexico, but now with all of this stuff going, they're like, yeah, Thailand it is.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
yeah, it's just
I think the
interesting.
biggest.
Sorry, I was just like, everyone
No,
has an exit plan now.
yeah. I know. I mean, the biggest concern for us, like, it doesn't really matter where we go as long as it's safe. I think Canada is like the number one choice for us just because our concern is getting the dogs over. Like Canada, we just drive over and then they have to do
Exactly.
quarantine or whatever.
Yeah.
Versus like, if we fly to the UK or the Netherlands or anywhere, that's like a 17-hour plus flight. Dogs, in the bottom of a plane, it's not the safest for them. And I don't know. I've seen so many horror stories that it's like, I don't know if I'd want to risk their lives getting over, but,
Yeah.
you know,
Yes, that is the hard part. Like the UK doesn't allow dogs to fly in cabin, so you have to put them down underneath. And although places like British Airlines have controlled temperature, stuff like that, it's just you have to leave your dog down there alone by themselves, and it's probably very traumatic,
yeah,
which is not ideal. But in emergency situations, you got to do what you got to do, but definitely not the first choice.
yeah.
But yeah, it's I think the other thing too is kind of looking at what countries align more with your values.
Hmm.
And I will say, the UK does more align because they do favor quality of life over just money. So they do have some differences there that that are good. But I just see more and more that the US does not care about quality of life. It just cares about income and money and being rich and powerful. And unfortunately, the government being rich and powerful does not transfer over to the actual citizens being rich. Not that we care to be powerful, but
It's not
we
even
can't
rich. We're
even.
not even happy.
Right. Yeah. And it's like not only do we not have money, but where even if we did, would we have happiness? Because you'd have to work in like 24/7, and even people who are already working really, really hard can hardly make ends meet. And the only way I could see to put a stop to that is if we just, had billionaires actually you know, get pay their fair share. Uh, it's just unnecessary for anyone to have that amount of money. They can't even do anything with it. Like they can't even spend it in their lifetime. And America's like, well, it's their right, it's their money, and I get that, but at what point can we draw a line in the sand and be like, okay, if you have over this much money, you're going to be taxed more? Like
Mm-hmm.
it just makes sense. They're just going to
Yeah.
keep that money and they're going to die. And then it goes to whoever's next in line or whatever. So, yeah, it's just disheartening and makes you feel hopeless sometimes.
Oh yeah. I mean, I make more than I have in like the last, probably 5 years, and I'm struggling more now than ever. It's just it's insane. Between gas and food, and like we're lucky that we found a place where our rent, we're paying basically what we paid for a one bedroom apartment in Miami, and probably what we would pay for a one bedroom apartment down here. And we're in a house, so we lucked out, but it's still expensive. Like this house, I want to say like 10 years ago was like less than $1,000 a month for rent, and now it's over double that. Um, and most houses on this neighborhood, if they were to go for rent, would be like close to $3,000 to rent. Like it's insane. No one can do that. Well, I mean, people can, but most of us can't do that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a sad situation.
Yeah. And the like how quickly rent prices have gone up is something that is also the part that makes you struggle the most because your income cannot catch up. The first apartment that I rented with a friend, it was a 2 bedroom in Auburn, and it was $675 a month. And still had to have a roommate because at the time I was making $11 an hour. But now we're paying $2,900 a month for a 2 bedroom. And to go from 675 to 2,900, let's see, that was like a 10-year span. That's fucking insane.
Yeah.
So it's just like you can't catch a break. Even if you're making more money, all the prices go up every single year and it just nulls it out. And it's frustrating as hell. And I know the American people are getting very frustrated into a breaking point. And now with this war, which we could probably transition into this, we're wondering, what effect is that going to have on the prices of gas and food? Because it's just we're just tapped. We cannot
Mm-hmm.
afford to pay more for food. Just our foundational living expenses just keep going up and up, and yeah, so it's nerve wracking,
Yeah.
shitty.
Yeah. Absolutely. So yeah, we'll segue into straight into that. Uh, so U.S. and Israeli striked and killed Iran's supreme leader. I'm not gonna probably say this name right. Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. Khamenei.
Best I can do.
Yeah. Along with dozens of senior regime figures targeting nuclear sites and command centers in a major operation dubbed Epic Fury. Iran retaliated with missile barrages hitting Israel, Gulf allies, and U.S. positions, resulting in the first American casualties, 3 U.S. service members killed and 5 seriously wounded per Central Command. Trump called it ahead of schedule and hinted at regime change, but no congressional war declaration has sparked backlash. Casualties are mounting, over 200 dead in Iran, dozens in Israel. With oil prices spiking and airspace closures, ground news shows left outlets framing it as reckless imperialism, right ones as a bold win against terror. So, I mean, I also saw, I don't know if this has been confirmed or not, but I also saw that we also hit like a girls' school in Iran, and there was dozens of kids that were killed.
Yeah, I saw that. It's conflicting because I follow this therapist actually. I guess is Iranian. I didn't even know that because they don't post much video of themselves. It's just like those like word things, and they said something along the lines of that is propaganda,
Okay.
and that it was there. It had some affiliations with the bad guy, essentially. So there hasn't been anything really actually confirmed. So it's hard to really speak on that because it's like if they did that, that's really shitty. Or if we're not getting proper information, I don't know. It's really hard to know what is actually happening because we are not over there. And yeah, I think the other conflicting thing too is so this therapist is also like, give us this moment to celebrate. We don't fucking care what you think about the war right now, and don't poop on us celebrating because they're just so happy that they killed their supreme leader. And I get that. I think we should allow space for them to be happy about that. There can be some good with bad. Two things can be true at once. And so I think we just have to be kind of careful, not to poop on that and be like, not see some positive that can come from it. But the problem is, like, we've had no success really with regime changes in the past, and there's just no telling of what's going to happen from here. And I'm not dumb. Like, I don't think that's the reason we went in there, because wouldn't we have bombed North Korea by now if we were really caring to free the people? Because North Korea full on threatens us like pretty regularly. And still we're just like, meh, you can just chill in your little country, and
they don't have anything we want.
Exactly. So we know it's not just because we care. It's because they have resources that we want, or that Israel wants, or whatever. So, like, don't come at me with this "we freed the people" bullshit. Like, cool. Like, I'm happy for them. But what are we going to do now? Because the U.S. is spending so much taxpayer money going over there. And again, we're in this situation where we can hardly afford rent and food ourselves. And so it's like, who's going to free us when we need it? Nobody. So, yeah. Sorry, what are your thoughts?
I'm not sure, was this approved by Congress, or was this not?
No. Yeah, no, it was not. So that's another issue. Yeah.
So again, we're having like an unchecked, balance of powers going on.
Yes.
To put our whole country in danger, for something. Again, like you said, like, there's two sides of the coin can be true at once. Like, there can be liberation in Iran because of this, but I don't think that was our intentions. I think our intentions, like you said, was to steal resources. And just like Venezuela, like, if we're going to come in and save the people, but then take control of everything for ourselves, like, we're not helping a country. We are just being selfish. But what's really scary is that this is happening without Congress approval. There's no consequences, on the administration for this. There's going to be consequences on us. There's going to be consequences for, our servicemen and women and people who are out there that are putting their lives on the line because they have to do what they're told. That's absolutely scary, and also, like, I mean, I know we're far enough from them, but, we're not 100% safe. No one is, I don't know. It's scary to think that we're going back into war when we just just got out of it,
Yeah. And I've seen a lot of people going around like, oh, well, is Barron going to go into the military and fight for a country, because, it's easy for rich billionaires to be disconnected from the fact that this costs actual lives.
And I'm sure he's got bone spurs just like his dad.
Exactly. It was like, is being too tall a limitation? Because he's huge. Like, I've not seen the guy run, but it's probably not pretty. So I don't know. But I guarantee rich people can pay any doctor to write, something that disqualifies them. And I wouldn't be surprised if I see a bunch of dudes like claiming to be trans. Like, it's like, okay, well, yeah, you got rid of trans people in the military. Now everyone's just be like, oh, I'm transgender, and just to get out of it.
They'll quickly switch that up where it's like all trans people have to be in the military.
Like, all of a sudden, we're allowing trans people again.
If you want rights, you have to fight for your country.
fuck, right? I would not be surprised at this point. They're just like, any way we can get rid of trans people, we're gonna do it.
Right.
But yeah, it's just you feel very out of control with what is going on, and there's a lot of uncertainty. It's hard to deal with basically on a daily basis. You're just waiting on the news to find out what happens next, and yeah, fun times. But anything else to add on that? I mean, it just happened, so it's like we hardly know.
We don't know a lot of stuff, so I think that's, obviously this is going to be a continuing piece that we're going to have to comment on, hopefully in just the weeks to come and not, years. But yeah, this is, this is developing, so we'll have to stay in. So we can jump into our next segment if you want to take that off.
Yeah. All right. So next, what we're talking? Oh yeah. So Clintons, they did their depositions, not in front of cameras like they were hoping or wanting, but so yeah. So Bill and Hillary Clinton wrapped closed door depositions before the House Oversight Committee in Chappaqua. How do you fucking why hit? I don't know.
Chappaqua.
Chappaqua. I'm like Chewbacca.
In Chewbacca.
So Hillary went first, and she was in there for over 6 hours, denied any knowledge of Epstein's crimes or even meeting him. Bill, following, also hours long, insisting he saw nothing wrong, would have reported crimes if known. Bullshit. And denying any involvement in hot tub photos or island visits. They pushed back hard, with Hillary defiant and irate over leaks. Republicans framed it as accountability. Dems warned it sets the precedent for subpoenaing Trump. So, you know what? I'm just going to call it right here. There's no fucking way I believe the Clintons. And if the left, you guys are just as fucking bad if you believe Clinton and like don't believe Trump, because it's very obvious Bill Clinton was very close to Epstein. He is in the files a lot, photos, all that shit. There's no way that he didn't know anything. There's just no fucking way. And he has a history of lying, if you don't recall, not having sexual relations with that woman. He's a fucking liar. There's no way that you could believe. I don't believe either of them, to be real. And it was kind of disheartening to see all these comments of people being like, yeah, like cheering him on. Clintons are like, I'm still with her. Yeah, you go, Hillary. I'm like, no, we are not the left MAGA here. I have no attachment to the Clintons. They can go fuck themselves, because they're still part of the elites who are just, rich motherfuckers running the world. So that's my 2 cents. How about you?
I don't know. I think, I'm kind of a more balanced, like, I feel like there needs to be more evidence. I can see both ways. I'll put it that way. Like, I can see, I can see a situation where, yeah, that maybe Bill Clinton was just swayed by Epstein, liked his power, liked, he's surrounded by pretty girls, that kind of thing, and was just completely oblivious. Is that likely? Probably not. I can also see a situation where, Hillary, I don't remember people I meet all the time, like I've met people at weddings, and then like I run into them in the store and I don't remember anything about them at all. So I can understand that. I can see that. I can also see a situation to where like she believes her husband, or she could be covering for her husband. I don't know. I think that's kind of the whole thing with the Epstein files, is there's just so much stuff going on where it's like, it's hard to believe anything these days. So unless like there's like pure true evidence of like, we've got Bill Clinton at the island with a girl on video, like there's always going to be deniable plausibility, right? Yeah, so I have no idea. I think they did their part. They testified. I would have liked it to also have been filmed. I did see a video where it was like Nancy Mace on Thursday, after Hillary testified, and she was like, Hillary was great. She answered all the questions, and like we really appreciate her being there. And then like it's like Friday, and then Nancy Mace's like, Hillary was like this, and this, and so combative, and all this, and it was like a complete switch of what she was saying. Um, yeah, again, don't know if any of this is real because there's so many fucking fake stuff out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really hard with all of these Epstein files to be like, what, like, even just like Pizzagate and all of this stuff, like it's just so out there where it's like, you know, this can't be real. Like this just it can't be real. I can't live in a universe to where like this is actually happening and this has gone through. It's such a like a thriller movie, like sci-fi, like it's so crazy, but it could be real. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I just feel like every day I'm lost. I
I
think
feel that.
I think the bottom line is none of these people can be trusted. Our whole administration, whether it was Trump or Biden or whoever, like I feel like everyone's covered up for something. Everyone's got blood on their hands, and I'm just over.
Yeah. Yeah. And the thing to also remember is that the Clintons and the Trumps were friends. So I don't think Bill is innocent, and you are the company you keep, right? So if Epstein and Trump and the Trumps and all that were his company, whether they are now or not, at one point they were. And bottom line is they have something in common, which is money and power. And those are the people that are going to stick together. And those are the people that don't give a fuck about the little people like us. So I'm not going to believe them for a second. Uh, our government needs a complete overhaul. Basically, both left and right are corrupt. And what do you do for a corrupt government? And who's going to save us from our corrupt government? Because we're not, we don't have anyone to sweep in and take out our evil dictators like Iran and Venezuela or whatever, even though that's not what it's about. But it's concerning, and it's just like I don't think Americans ever found ourselves in this position to think we never had to think realistically what would we do in a circumstance where we had a corrupt government and we had to overtake it, or
Mhm.
and they keep saying I've seen what's his name Cenk from the Young Turks. He'll say our best weapon right now is our vote, and then he says like, but it's just like, does our vote even count? And they keep saying that vote, vote, vote. And like, but one, are we going to have midterms? Two, how do we know our votes are going where they're supposed to be going
Yeah,
anymore?
we can't trust anything anymore. Feel like
No.
fucking crazy conspiracy people now.
Yeah. Seriously.
Speaking of pedophiles, did you hear about the registered sex offender who's running for office in Fresno?
No. Oh, yes, I did actually. I think I saw a clip, and then he was saying how everyone deserves a second chance or something. And it's just like, no, not you. That was not for you.
No, that was definitely not for you. Do better, Fresno. Do better.
Yeah, it's like, okay, you can have a second chance, but you still have to deal with the consequences of your actions. So if the consequence is not being able to run for government, then cool, because that's fucking weird.
Now, if you like, my wife put it this way: like, if you were put on the registered sex offender list because you were caught peeing in public or something, like being stupid, that's one thing. Actually, having sex with a minor and having like, I believe he also had like alluded to like child porn or something like that. I'd have to look into it, but it was definitely some other stuff. I'm like, yeah, you should not be in office. Like, you're not.
No,
That's.
it's the worst time too, because like
Mhm.
we already have enough pedophiles in office. So you think anyone's gonna vote someone in with a history? If they do, I'm like, everyone needs to move out of Fresno. I don't know what's happening, but I mean, they should probably still do that anyways. Oh, Fresno. I mean,
Poor Fresno.
there's worse places, but maybe
Stockton.
like Stockton. So yeah, it's
Let's rank our worst cities.
people might get a little angry at us for that one. But yeah, Stockton and Fresno are definitely on the top five of that list, I believe. But we gotta stop allowing pedophiles or just dishonest, corrupt people in the government. And the thing is, we knew Trump was corrupt. He's he's been corrupt for a very long time. The only difference is now his corruption is impacting the whole country at the same time. Because before it was just his businesses or whoever he was scamming and fucking over, which I'm not saying is okay. But it's just like we gave him power and allowed him to create more corruption than just fucking with his own businesses and shit. And it's just like, how did we think this was going to go well? The guy's never lived a normal life. He's never had to buy groceries, go grocery shopping. He's not, it's just, we got to stop putting these people who are completely out of touch with most people's reality. That's what keeps fucking happening. And I don't know how to get out of it because we have these big corporations that donate to campaigns and essentially own the politicians. And so we get this illusion of what we're voting for or who we're voting for. And we're told they're going to do X, Y, Z, but they know that they can't because of who they're bought and paid, like who has bought them and their campaigns. And I don't know how we make that illegal somehow, but I feel like the only way out of the situation is that. And I need to educate myself more on that. But that's all.
Speaking on politicians, how are you feeling about I mean, it doesn't really affect us, but versus Crockett campaign?
Crockett. I'm very kind of torn in a sense because I love James Tillerico. I think he has what it takes to bridge the gap between the left and the right, which is very, very needed right now. And I know there's also a tendency to put in this, to bring race into the equation as well. And it's really hard to not also consider that potentially being a problem of like, oh, well, they're only voting for him because he's white and stuff like that. But the difference with him is that he speaks their language. He a pastor, or previously was a pastor. He's very educated with theology. He knows how to act the things that they say. And I feel like he actually walks the Christianity that I learned, or that, is supposed to be the way. And that's why when he talks about Jesus and God, it doesn't bother me because he does it in such a way where it's not judgment. It's like this mostly kindness and love. And that's how he's like, that's why I'm a Democrat, because I want to care for other people and stuff like that. And just, he's so respectful in the way that he talks, even when he disagrees with people. Because I think that the situation with Jasmine, unfortunately, she's matching the energy of MAGA. And sometimes that's very needed. But the problem is that's not going to go anywhere. Like, we're just constantly battling at each other, and it makes the other side just double down and check out. And I get it because everyone's emotions and stuff is so high right now. You just want to fight, but we can't do that forever. It's this social media civil war that just creates the bullshit that we're in right now. And with Tillerico, I just constantly see him preaching kindness and bridging the divide. And that is the message I feel like that I value the most right now. So that's where I'm kind of siding. I just think he is bridging some gaps, and he, like, MAGA wants to listen to him. If I don't know if you've seen any clips where, like, Des is from Texas and he was in Lubbock, where she's from, and it has been red for like as long as she can remember. And he was there and like a bunch of people showed up for him, and she was just like, that's crazy. So it just shows that, he's doing good work. What are the skeletons in his closet? I don't know. I'm still going to be like, I do not trust politicians. But I'm watching him kind of closely, just seeing if anything comes up. And I just have not seen any red flags yet. And, yeah, that's where I stand. I know it's difficult because of Jasmine. But yeah, how about you? What do you think?
I think I'm kind of in the same boat. Obviously, I'm not from a religious background as you. I love Jasmine Crockett. I think she's great. I love how she snaps back at politicians. She doesn't take bullshit. She's very direct. Um, and honestly, I wish there was a situation where they weren't in the same district to where they could both be running and both be picked in. But I think you kind of hit it right on the nail. Is especially in Texas, Talarico, because he speaks, he can get his voice over to the other side. Where the way Jasmine approaches it, it's very blunt, and that's the same as MAGA, right? So, like, if you're doing that, anyone with resistance is just going to be, averted. Whereas Talarico can like speak and explain a situation, and especially for people who identify as Christian or religious that are taking that message in the wrong way, he can actually bring them back closer. Um, so yeah, I do think that he in this situation is the better choice. It just sucks because it would you want to support more diversity too. You want to support a person of color who has come so far in their career, and you want them to succeed. Um, but I think for this specific race at this time, I think Talarico is probably the better one to bridge that gap and to bring um, more Republicans and Democrats together,
Yeah.
which we need.
Yeah, and like that's the main view that I'm looking at. And again, it's like nothing against Jasmine. It is just what I've been seeing with that energy. Um, Again, like I said, there's a place and time for it, but unfortunately, it's continuing to divide us right now. But he's also just he's I don't know, like he also said that if he doesn't win the whatever it's called, like if he's not the candidate, he will support her 100% and campaign
Yep.
with her and go on to campaign with her. And I just found that like really honorable. So I was
Mm-hmm.
just like, for him to say that and to do that, I just think that is exactly what we need right now. It's just not
Yeah.
this massive ego that politicians tend to have. And I admired that. I'm kind of just like, he's just, he would probably get my vote if I was there. But yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and we've got our own elections coming around the corner that are pretty scary. We've got our governor race, and from what I saw last, there's a Republican who is leading that race currently, so that's a little scary.
It's very scary. Yeah. Because as trans people, which we could probably go into the the Kansas thing, I'm scared of something like that happening in California. And I feel like our protection, not to say that Newsom was, I don't know, but at least he,
He's
had
doing the
trans people.
minimum.
Yeah. And at least the minimum is something. Whereas places like Kansas, they're actively working against people. And so it makes me nervous because you have this kind of sense of safety in California. Because I don't know how many times I've said, at least I'm in California this past year. And I'm afraid to not be able to say that anymore if we have a Republican governor. And it sucks that Republicans are just so fucking focused on the culture wars and reaching to do whatever they can against trans people right now, just as quickly as possible. And it sucks. We've been a target since Trump started campaigning for this, current election. And it sucks. It's hard. And it's scary to think that we will no longer have that saying of, at least I'm in California, because the governor is going to be Republican. And I don't know his views on trans rights and people and stuff, but I've not met a Republican that's like, yeah, let's let trans people just have their rights. So I can only assume. But yeah, what do you think?
Yeah. I mean, so we'll just jump into it. There was a new Kansas law that overrode a veto, and that invalidates about 1,700 trans residents' driver's licenses and birth certificates if the gender doesn't match their birth sex. There's no grace period, and there's $1,000 fines for driving. They have surrender demands already going out, and there are lawsuits being filed. But basically, not only is your driver's license completely void now. Um, you can get fines, but also I think they said it was a class 5 misdemeanor. So again, we're basically criminalizing trans people. It also invalidates them from being able to vote. You know, so yeah, this is, it's definitely scary for, just the, I mean, human rights in general, but the LGBTQ community. Um, it, there's no reason for it. There's
Yeah.
no reason to do that except for just straight hate. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, we'll see what happens with lawsuits if, any of that can get overturned. Um,
I did see
but
that
hopefully,
2 trans guys have already sued the state. But
yeah.
yeah,
So we'll see. We'll see what comes of that. I'm just hoping that other states don't follow suit, doing the same thing.
that's definitely the worry. And my first reaction to it was, really? This is their priority right now? Like, really? Because this isn't going to help anyone. This isn't going to impact anyone positively. This is only impacting a small group of people uh, very badly, especially with no grace period. Uh, and, we've had a little taste of it with passports. I know you got your passport and ended up getting the wrong gender marker on it. And by miracle, this is something I haven't even talked about publicly, but so I got my UK passport, and obviously very easy. They put the right gender marker on it. No problem. Uh, I changed my birth certificate this year because, one, I was worried that, I wouldn't be able to eventually. And I did have this hope that maybe I could slip through the cracks of the system and send over my birth certificate that matches my current name and gender, and just like hope that somehow it's overlooked, that someone ran out of time, someone didn't check off all the boxes and still put an M on my passport. And somehow that actually fucking happened. I'm still confused though. So I was full on expecting, like a big fat F for my gender marker when I sent it in, got it back, had an M on it. And I was just like, what the fuck? But it wasn't until I got my package of documents back, they ship back your birth certificate and all that stuff in a little envelope, got that back. And inside that envelope was that letter that you get that says we corrected your gender, essentially to match your documents. But they didn't. So I don't know if it was just they printed the passport before they checked all that, and we're like, it's going to cost us more if we, and plus I paid for whatever it is to like fast track it. So maybe since I like paid for that, they just had to do it quicker than normal and just kind of overlooked it. But I still got that letter, even though they hadn't actually changed anything. So it's either like someone in the system or just like is on trans people's side who is just not changing the gender markers for people, just checking off the box anyway, slipping in that piece of paper to cover their own ass, but then, having some grace. Or was it a mistake where they printed it and then didn't want to reprint it? So do they just put that in there and sent it away and just like, fuck it? Or was it missed completely and they don't have any idea? I don't know. But it obviously wasn't missed completely if they knew that there was a mismatch somewhere and gave me that piece of paper. But I feel very lucky. I don't know how it happened, but I'm just glad that it did. And it just sucks that we even have to worry about that because it changes nothing for anyone. And I saw a local news station here to Sacramento, KCRA, posted about the Kansas situation, how 2 transgender men were suing the state already. The comments were awful. It was just like, it's called biological reality. It should match your sex and all that stuff. And people don't understand the difference between like perceived sex or perceived gender versus biological. Like, we're not dumb. Biologically, we know our chromosomes, our XX. We know if we die and or someone murders us and leaves us somewhere, they're going to think that we were a woman, and according to our DNA. But when you're perceived in public as male, it's a lot more confusing if your IDs do not match that perception. So it's making it just more confusing and more unsafe for trans people in general. And that's the reality. We understand biological reality. We are not completely delusional here. It's just the fact that it doesn't matter on a day-to-day basis. The only people that need to know our sex at birth is our doctors, because that requires knowledge, and that
Mm-hmm.
they're going to treat hormone replacement therapy. Like we need them to know, so we can still get our medications and be treated properly. But outside of that, no one has to know. It doesn't infect anyone in any way, shape, or form. So yeah. And that's all I have to say about that. Yeah. Any other thoughts on the, oh, also the no grace period? I think that's one thing to focus in on, because people are not understanding. Like, you have to give your driver's license to pick up medications, to vote, to buy certain things sometimes, uh, and to drive, and you got to go to work. You need your license to go to work, and so it's just cruel to not even offer a grace period. That just shows that they're straight up just out to fuck with trans people, and they don't care. So yeah,
Yeah, it's definitely fucked up.
love it.
What else is fucked up is, you know, last night apparently we had a lot of mass shootings, which obviously is another almost normal day occurrence in the United States. But the fact that we had multiple in just one night is pretty crazy. Um, in Austin, there were three dead, including the suspect. Um, 14 injured. The FBI are saying it's like a terror probe. In Cincinnati, another nightclub, 9 injured, no dead. Palm Springs, a motorcycle club event, 2 dead, 3 injured. Detroit, funeral, 3 killed, 2 injured. Um, yeah, I think it's, we're amping up in the United States not only fear but anger. I haven't looked into any of those shootings. I just heard the news this morning, um, so I don't know necessarily what any of these, if any of them are connected in any way, if they're all separate events, and what any motivations are. But it's always sad to wake up to hearing news like that. It's hard going places because you never know when is that going to be a moment. Uh,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know if you read anything this morning when you got up on it.
Yeah, I'm still not sure about like all of the uh, motivation and stuff behind it. So all I can see is basically, that the headline, or just like a summary of what has happened so far, because I don't know that we have that much information. But yeah, it just says a gunman opened fire with a pistol, assault rifle, killing 2 people, blah blah. As you said, they're just investigating still, but as a potential terrorism link based on items found on the gunman. So no motive has been confirmed. So we're just kind of in that wait and see moment situation. And I'm like, dear God, if they claim it's a trans person again, I'm gonna fucking lose my mind. Uh, because there's also, like, in the X headlines or today's news, uh, Elon Musk's Elon Musk calls transgender imposition mental illness in X post. Uh, so it says that Musk responded to Sal Grover, CEO of the women only app Giggle, who called viewing opposite sex pretense as a human rights movement insane. He agreed people can pretend or dress up, but can't force others to accept it as reality amid her legal battle with trans woman Roxanne Tickle, who won a discrimination case in 2024 that's now under appeal. The post gained over 180,000 likes, sparking support from conservative, praising free thought alongside criticism, tying it to Musk's estranged transgender daughter, Vivian Jenna Wilson. It highlighted divides on biology, pronouns, and single sex spaces. And I don't know about you, but I'm just tired of being up for debate in general. Would love to just be left alone. I just don't know how we get that, because I think the right is going to continue to try to stoke culture wars. I mean, the left too, because they're trying to keep us from uniting, and that's the ultimate goal. And the hard part is that not everyone sees that and they take the bait. And I'm guilty of that as well because it's easy uh, to get outraged about things. But it sucks being the scapegoat.
Yeah.
It's painful at times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's ridiculous, and it's just always like, I don't know. It's easy to just always jump um, and point fingers without there being any information or evidence out. And like before, it was trans people. It was always like minorities that were blamed, right? When most majority of the shootings that we have are from straight cis white men. Like that tends to be like the common denominator. But if you don't want to look at the evidence, you're just gonna, you don't want to look inward of like, where is all this hate and anger coming from? It's easy to just try and point at other people.
Yeah.
um yeah, it's sad. We'll definitely have to keep an ear out for more information as that becomes more available. But yeah, it's been a rough weekend when
Yeah.
it comes to news, and it's Sunday for us. We record these on Sunday and post on the following Friday, so there's a little bit of a disconnect. Hopefully when people are actually watching this, they've had some time to take in the news and breathe and live with it for a little bit, and kind of have that moment of stress and visceral reaction. Right now it's still all really fresh, but all we can do in these situations is just voice your opinions. Vote when you can, if you can. If you're in Kansas and now you can't vote, I don't even know what that's going to look like when that comes. And God, it feels like as much stress and terror there is in the world today, like we still have to focus on the beautiful moments that we can have. One of the things I really appreciate about you, Cody, is, in your stories, you're always taking a picture on your walk of like, like the sunsets or the flowers, like, and there's always some like, very, very prolific, saying that you always have with it. But, it's moments like that where it's like, yeah, you have to like appreciate the things around you. You can't just always be in your head and deal with the stress. Like, we've started going on, walks every day, and, like we stop and we like, say some affirmations, or, like we appreciate the air and, like whatever. Like, it's just like, you gotta take what positives you can when you can. And surround yourself with community that uplifts you and is supportive.
Yeah, for sure. It's about, when in the moment or when the future is uncertain, and everything feels like it's on fire, best thing you can do is just try to be mindful in your present moment, surround your current surroundings, and try to take a deep breath and just focus on the people closest to you. And because all we have control over is like that small, our little small worlds. We're the president of our lives. So I didn't vote for myself, but uh, unfortunately, I still have to be responsible for what I do, and that's all we could really focus on sometimes. Um, but on that note, too, before we kind of wrap into other things, I did want to get your opinion on Candace Owens. She just started a new series called The Pride
Oh
of
gosh.
Charlie.
Oh my gosh.
So, yeah, The Bride of Charlie. So it's a series like all about Erica Kirk and her background, and it's interesting. Oh yeah, there was a State of the Union address also that we didn't really. I didn't watch it though, so
I don't
but
think anyone
it's
did.
kind of tie. I
It was
did.
it was the longest State of the Union address in history, and probably the most boring one ever.
Yeah, yeah, because Trump just like goes off and rambles. But Erica Kirk, there was a moment where he acknowledged her and told her to stand, and she was already standing, which was funny. But it's just you immediately see her face turn into that Erica Kirk signature cry face where no tears come out. And it's just like really bad acting. And even people that are conservative and on the right, they know that something is off. It's actually a very few amount of people I see defending her. There's a lot more curiosity and questioning around her than defending at this point, just because more and more information comes out about her, and we've caught her in so many lies. So I don't know. I feel like it's fair game that Candace is going after it because of all her inconsistencies in her stories and her lies. And we're kind of like, who is Erica Kirk after all? Did she have a hand in this? Do I think Candace is a grifter and she's doing it for clicks? Yes. But I feel like she does also have even if it's a small piece of her that is genuinely wanting to find out what the fuck happened to her friend. So I'm kind of like, whatever part of her is motivating her to do this, I'll support that. But do I trust her? Fuck no. Like, I remember who Candace Owens is and was. She has been all about the culture wars. She is not a friend of trans people. She was very much like she was, shitting on George Floyd for a very long time, and a grifter. I think now she's realizing she was used by the Republican Party and she was fucked over by Ben Shapiro. But it took her getting fucked over to give a fuck about it. So it's kind of like, she's still doing this for clicks and views. And it's hard to know what part of her, if anything, is genuine. But at least she's asking questions and getting people to think. And hey, I'll credit her for creating the MAGA divide. So good job with that. Even if that wasn't her intention, thank you for that. But yeah, what's your opinion on that?
I mean, I'm just hearing about it. I think it's great. Yeah, I've gotten the ick from who she was, which was right after Charlie Kirk's death. Something just never felt right. Everything felt off. And so, yeah, I definitely think it's a good thing that people are looking into her. And, if she did something wrong, she did something wrong, but I don't think she's a good person. So,
I don't think so either. More and more says that she was working for Israel. There's just past clips constantly being dug up with her like acting or in some movie as like a spy or some shit. And she's like shooting guns. And then she's also supposed to be like this Christian woman, and her actions do not align with what her supposed values are. And I think the right wing Christian folks are kind of catching on to that a bit. And then just her lying, it's unnecessary. Why would you lie unnecessarily if you weren't trying to cover something up? And just how she took over so quickly, such a big company.
It's like there was a plan in place.
Exactly. And then, did you listen to that leaked recording of her talking about merch sales and stuff as she was talking to it? Yeah, like that didn't sound right either. There was a moment where she was like, my husband's dead, guys. Like, he died. I'm not trying to be morbid, but he died. You're just like, no one who is actually grieving talks like that. I'm sorry, but yeah, it's bizarre. So we'll see how that unfolds. I know recently, I think Candace put up something where it was like, was Erica born a boy? And I'm like, she can't fucking help herself with this shit, can she? Like, everyone was born as the opposite sex as they were if she's doing an investigation. So that's where I'm just like, I'm not going to trust Candace because we don't even know whatever happened with the Macron situation. I think she was probably forced to stop talking about it, but she's not going to tell us that, right?
Yeah.
So it's like she's a little nutty for sure. But hey.
Yeah. Well, jumping off of that, what have you been watching?
Well, a little bit of the Candace Owens bullshit, but it's just sometimes too much. But outside of that, 1,000 Pound Sisters, that's a good little show to distract you from the world being on fire. Top Chef still in their next season will be out, I think, March 7th. So I'm excited about the new season. We have almost caught up. Uh, yeah, I think we have one more season. No, yeah, one more season we have to catch up, and then we'll be on the current season. Uh, and then Padma actually has a new show that's very Top Chef like because
I
she's no
just
longer
saw a
the
trailer for
host.
that.
Yeah, so I'm gonna watch that for sure. I don't know what happened. I thought she was just taking a break because she was tired of eating a bunch of food. Uh, but yeah, that'll be interesting. And the Pit, we have not caught up on the recent episode, but that's on the agenda. Fuck, there's another one. Oh yeah, The Handmaids is gonna come out, or the Testaments is coming out in April, so that'll be a good one. Um, God, I'm missing a show right now, and I can't think of which one it is. Oh yeah, we've been watching Harlan Coben's Runaway on Netflix. We're almost done with that, not quite, but his shit's so good because it has so many twists and turns. It really makes me almost want to pick up one of his books to read it because he's a writer, so they're all based off of like books he's written and stuff. So I'm like, maybe I don't like reading fiction. Never have, but maybe I would. I just haven't given enough shot of a shot. But I'll just watch his TV shows for now. But yeah, how about you? What have you been watching?
We've been catching up. We're on completely caught up with The Pit. It's
Nice.
really hard going from like being able to binge watch series to like watching a show that only comes out once a week.
I know I hate
Um,
that.
it's really hard because like I finish an episode, I'm like, oh, I want to know what happens, and I can't know what happens. So we've been watching that. Um, we've been watching Dawson's Creek. R.I.P. James Vanderbeek. It was really sad. So we started watching that. We picked up where we're at. So I think we're on season 4. Um, and then we've been watching Fallout. What did we just watch? We just watched a movie. Oh, we just watched the Fantastic Four movie. That was okay. It was fine. It was good. Um, and I think that's been pretty much it. It's been mostly mostly watching Dawson's Creek just because like we need like drama to watch, but not like crazy drama. Like we
Yeah.
need like stupid drama, and we're like this hits.
Shrinking. Sorry. That's the one I missed. Because that reminded me. Keep going. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's been pretty much it. We started watching well, I've been watching there's like a YouTube channel called Smosh. It's really popular. But it's like some like I don't even want to say young because I think they're like our age or just a little bit younger. It might be, whatever. But they're like, like comedian, actor type, voice actors and stuff. And they do like funny skits and stuff, but they have like a Smosh Games channel or something, where some of them like play video games or they'll play board games and people watch whatever. But I've been watching the videos of them playing Resident Evil, and it's pretty funny because it's like one guy who's playing, and then there's like the two girls that are hilarious are watching him play that have no idea about Resident Evil, and they're like screaming and like whatever, like making funny commentary. So I've been watching that, but we were watching it like at night before bed, and Resident Evil was pretty like
Ooh,
dark
yeah.
and like creepy, and so like both my wife and I are like waking up and like we had some pretty bad nightmares, like
Oh, man.
multiple nights in a row. So we switched to like we're watching Bob's Burgers like at night before we go to bed, like just
That's a
fun
good one.
animated comedy.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's been what we've been watching. I did see a documentary that I'm gonna try and watch soon. I'll share it with you. I don't know the name off the top of my head, but it's about these murdered and missing Indigenous women, and it's actually connected to kind of my tribe, so Alaskan natives. But apparently, someone found a phone or took a phone or something, at least from the trailer. I'll send it to you. Again, I don't know why I said that twice. But they picked a phone, and it was like evident inside the phone was evidence of these murdered women, and it like led to like the rest of this like basically serial killer. So I'm really excited to watch that and see like really what happened. It looks really cool.
Yeah, that sounds interesting. I And speaking of, that reminds me of another documentary about, the top model documentary.
We
Uh,
watched that.
Same, I forgot. And that is wild. Do you have any thoughts on that? Have you finished it?
Yeah, we finished it.
Yeah.
I had watched a couple seasons, um, a long time ago. Like I remember watching like a couple seasons, like when it was airing, like when it
Yeah.
first
Same.
started, and then I think might have been COVID, but I think it was before that. I binged watched a couple. It had to be before that. I think like I was staying at someone's house and they had it like TiVoed, and so like I watched it. Um, yeah, it's really interesting watching reality shows from that time period now as an adult, and as an adult who has like grown, like mentally and like morally. Um, because one of the big ones that they talked about was like Shondi's story, who like she got basically blackout drunk and basically sexually assaulted,
And they recorded
because
it.
and they recorded it. No one stopped it. They filmed the whole thing and aired it, and they aired the lighter side. They didn't even air, whatever. um and to think that that aired back then, no one batted an eye on it. um and looking back at it now, it's like it's so horrific. And then you have Shondi who's doing the interview too from now, and you can see how much trauma that caused her. And the fact that not even like they asked Tyra about, do you remember the Shondi story? And she was like, no, I don't know what
Yeah,
you're
she's
talking
like,
about.
kinda. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, she just like went into defense mode right away and being like, I remember it, but I didn't have any control over the production and stuff. But the hard part for me to watch is not just the fact that they didn't intervene, but they actively shamed her for it constantly from then on out. Just the way that they presented on the show, they blamed her for everything, and then they made her call her boyfriend, and they had to film that, and it's just like this poor girl who,
oh, and they also Tyra brought her on her talk show, and then made her watch the video after she was told promised that she wouldn't play it. Made her watch the video of her getting sexually assaulted.
yeah,
It's absolutely disgusting.
it's
Absolutely disgusting.
yeah, like it just makes me livid, and especially to be in a time where we're dealing with this Epstein stuff right now, and it's I know during COVID we also went through this like what's the movement
Me
that
too.
the Me Too movement. No, my brain. Uh, and I know that created this like anti Me Too movement, especially on the right. And now it's kind of like, I don't think we ever should have gone against it, because if you can see now, we have a bunch of pedophiles in our government. So maybe that's why they're trying to create this anti Me Too movement campaign. But as you can see, we are not at a point where we can stop with the Me Too, because people need to be held accountable. And that the fact that not too long ago someone could get sexually assaulted on TV and be shamed and blamed for it for years, that's fucked up. And we have so far to go. Like, so fucked up. Uh, but like you said, it is interesting watching things back when you have matured and come a long way since then, and just seeing how that probably shaped so many young women's image about themselves. And, it's probably where a lot of eating disorders were created. And I know Tyra was trying to do this thing where she wanted models of all shapes and sizes and etc., but she still fed into the body image issues. I don't think she helped at all, to be real. Also, the woman who, I can't remember her name, but they like made her close her gap in her teeth.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
and like there was another girl where they like pulled a bunch of teeth, and she still had. Is that the same girl that was sexually
No, they're two
assaulted?
different. No, they're a
Okay.
different girl.
Okay. um, she still has like oral health problems due to them
Yeah, they
pulling a bunch
did.
of teeth.
Yeah, they didn't fix any issues. They just made her the front of her mouth nicer, but they didn't fix any of the dental issues that she had.
Yeah, and I'm just like, how was that okay? It's just
Yeah.
mind blowing,
Well,
that
the
type
fact
of
that they
thing.
also did that and they didn't give them a option to like talk to a lawyer or talk to like family and like get any idea of like should I do this, like get a second opinion. They were just like we're going to do this, like that's insane.
Yeah, it it was all sorts of insane. And at least now, there's some people on the cast looking back and admitting how awful and wrong it was. But Tyra, she just fails to be apologetic or even see how she played a role in all of it. And it's just like, once again, you see that these people who gain power and money, and they just forget that other people are people and humans too. They just lose their sense of humanity. And it just, you don't know whether to be mad at the people or mad at money, or I don't know. It just breeds corruption.
Yeah.
Uh, and we've seen that even in churches. Whenever churches grow and get a lot of money, it's just corrupt things happen. And so it's just, how do we battle that? It's just always going to be a thing. But how do we get it out of our government to where it makes other people suffer? That's the real question.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing is a lot of us realizing a lot of us realizing now, and even the younger generation able to identify those things that are wrong, and trying to hold people accountable. Unfortunately, a lot of these people who do things wrong, they're only going to feel the consequences if it's criminal or if it's involving money. So I mean, the biggest thing is like if there's someone that if there's someone on a show or not even a show, but if there's an artist, if there's like Tyra Banks, if you don't want to support her because you don't agree with what she's doing, don't watch her, because that's just that's what's gonna like maybe not see the error of their ways because but at least let's not keep them in power.
Yeah, yeah. And there's a lot of, I feel like, forks in the road for people these days of who they're supporting, like who they're voting. You can vote with your dollar. It's harder when not everyone's voting with you. For example, those who, like, very, very recently, as of this weekend, ChatGPT versus Claude, for example, you know, uh, ChatGPT, in my opinion, has gone down into the shithole anyways, even before that. So I had stopped using it. But now I feel like there's a much better, bigger reason to stop using it. I don't know if you heard about how they signed a deal with the government to use their AI to carry out like attacks on other countries, like also facial recognition. And Claude was like, no, we're not going to let you use our software for that because it's, unconstitutional. And basically they wanted the government to promise they wouldn't use it on US citizens, or that they wouldn't use it without human oversight, because AI can make mistakes, shoot the wrong person, XYZ. And OpenAI was like, yeah, sure, we'll sign with you. And Claude refused. So there's a lot of people canceling their ChatGPT subscriptions and moving over to Claude. Yeah. So vote with your dollar. That's a good way to start. But damn, if we had to vote for it with our dollar with everything, we'd have nothing left. It's like, oh,
I am canceling my ChatGPT right now.
It's going to offer you a free subscription for a month, by the way.
That's fine. I don't need it.
It's like, no, don't go. Everyone's leaving. But yeah,
Cancel subscription.
It's concerning for sure. So, anywho, that was my last little bit of news that I just flung in there.
And ChatGPT is canceled.
Buy a ChatGPT. Go chat with yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. So should we wrap it up? It was a long one because we didn't have last week because I was a sick asshole. I ruined it. But hey, we're back.
Yep. Yeah, so if you want to join a community, talk about all this stuff, fitness, health, politics, just general, join Cody's
Discord.
Discord. I almost said Doom Scroll.
Doom
Join
scroll
his Doom
Discord.
Scroll. Join the Discord. We'll have the link in the bio or somewhere. Um, uh, Other than that, everyone stay safe. Try and find the positives in the next week and be there for your community.
Yes, agreed. Peace out, guys. We will talk to you next time.